Hello and bonjour and welcome to Plein Air Perspective. This is Christophe Borel, and today we are going to paint a mountain lake, and the mountain lake we're painting today is called the Lac Blanc, and it's probably one of the most famous locations for us to go to when we go hiking above Chamonix. And behind me is the view you get once you get there on a clear day. It's just probably one of the most beautiful locations you'll find in the French Alps. And you can go there in winter or summer, and the access to the Lac Blanc is done from a couple of different sides, up from the the Brevant, and then up to the Index, and then you can make your way down, or you can come from the Le Tour or Le Col des Grands Montets, and then it's a much harder hike from there. But anyway, this is where we are, so let's see it on Google Earth. Now, this mountain lake is, as I said to you, a very beautiful place to go, and I did get a chance to paint there 3 years ago, and I'm going back there hopefully this time if the weather allows. And it's just a sensational place to paint. And the good part about it is we've got those huge mountains, the Mont Blanc including, in the background, which gives us a chance to paint a lovely perspective. So with painting, I'm demonstrating today. It's just a little study. So it's just, I said, it is a study. It is not a finished work, but you get to understand the painting process of, first of all, to give it the distance to the mountains, and the middle ground, which has that rocky sort of spot there holding the water, and then obviously the lake itself with a few reflections. So let's do it. Let's go painting. So as usual, I'm going to start with the sky, and I've got here the titanium white and cerulean blue. Very basic sky on this painting, nothing exceptional, just very straightforward, same color all the way around. I think I put a little bit of extra ultramarine blue on the top layer just to give a bit more definition, but I don't think it shows that much. Here I'm just starting with the titanium white and putting the snow reflections. Those are the brightest bright at this stage, as the sun is hitting those mountains. Pretty much it's a lunchtime picture here. Mixing a bit of ultramarine blue, and just trying to work a little bit on the shadow side of the mountains. Just roughly blocking in, just to give me some ideas of proportions, composition, shape, and values. Now I'm starting to work a bit more, still working those shadows. Now I've added a bit of a Payne's grey to the mixed, so I can now do the mountains themselves. They're a long way away, so I'm trying to keep the value fairly light. And try to stay as accurate as I can, even though they're a long way away. Now I'm just starting to work on the middle ground, and this is the area basically where the lake is being held just added a bit of raw sienna into my mixture. Obviously at this stage it's too light and I'll have to go back and darken it. But I'm not too worried. I'm just focusing on blocking in, and then obviously I will readjust the values of the painting as I move along. And reflections in the water are always a little bit darker than what we see. And that's why you probably see me now working a little bit darker. And all I've done is added a bit of ultramarine blue raw sienna. And now I'm just putting the mountain reflections, trying to be reasonably accurate. But because this is a study, we'll just go with the flow. And reflections are basically just with ultramarine blue, raw sienna, and Payne's grey. Now adding the white of the snow. So again, just positioning the colors where I think they belong. Now I'm using a very wide brush with a very thin hair to blend the colors together and give that sense of water reflections. And now I'm just mixing a bit of the white with the cerulean blue, a little bit darker than the actual sky color. And I'm just working my way down and making a little bit darker as I go. So I've just added a bit of ultramarine blue now into the mix. A little bit of raw sienna, a bit more ultramarine blue to darken it. And again, I'm just using that big brush to blend it all together. And because I'm using that yellow ochre base underneath, it reflects the light beautifully with the paint. I mean, the paint is very thin, and I'm using liquid as well to thin and make it dry quicker. Now I'm just retouching the mountains. They're probably gone a bit too light when I put the brush blending together. That's better now. I think we can see a little bit more reflections, and I'll have to keep coming back. Now I'm just re-establishing the lighter values of the highlights in the snow with the titanium white and a bit of ultramarine blue, just re-sculpting the mountains a bit more accurately. Now I'm just starting to work on the rocks underneath the water, and the board is still pretty wet, so it's just a mix of ultramarine blue, Payne's grey and raw sienna. Again, not totally accurate. I'm just trying to work out approximately what the stones underground under the water are looking like, and as we know, the further away we go, the flatter they get. But having a wet board makes it easier. As you can see, nothing difficult here. Just as I say, trying to be as abstract as you can. None of those rocks are uniform. And I'm not spending a great deal of time trying to work them all out individually. So this is day 2. the paint has dried, and I'm just going for a bit more color. My sky was just too dry and too pale, so I'm adding a little bit more color into it, and I'm using a lot of liquid to glaze over the top now, over the work I've done before. And those are the sky reflections over the lake, but I'm making sure not to block everything. And again, I'm using my blending brush. Still reworking the mountains. Try to make them stand out. Again, adding the snow. It's constant back and forth until you get it right, or close to being right. I say it's never wrong when it comes to reflections. Using my blending brush. Now what happened here, my board was a bit too wet, and unfortunately I started rubbing some of the original colors, so I'll have to go back into it and fix that patch. And that's why it's good sometimes to do a study, because if you make a mistake, well, you try not to repeat it when you have a bigger board or a bigger painting to do. Now I'm just putting a bit more snow, highlights, trying to emphasize the snow, and thicker paint. Just adding a few more details of the snow now. Gets to that point where I can start adding a few details. But again, remember, those mountains are so far away. It's really just a matter of opinion on how much details you want to put in. Now sculpting them a little bit more. And I've added Payne's Grey, Raw Sienna, and Ultramarine Blue. And in this part I've added a bit more white to the mix because the mountains are again a bit further away. Further away, the lighter the values are. Still working on details. And again, as I say, try to make them look right. Just adding a few more shadow colors. Now, if you can see in this mix, I've added a bit of a phthalo green, which I mixed with the raw sienna and the white, and I'm now working the rocks under the water. And I'll be using that same mix all the way through, adding a bit more white, adding a bit more green, I'll be adding a bit more raw sienna, just trying to give it the depth of water. At this stage, I'm just putting a glaze. My mountains were just too dark, so now I've just lightened them a bit. I'm using a paper cloth to rub some of the colors. And now I'm going back into the sky, trying to darken that sky again, trying to fix that problem I had with my board. Using my soft brush, trying to blend it all together, and going back through the whole board so that the values of the sky are the same all over. Same again, raw sienna, phthalo green, white, and I'm just working on the hill, middle ground. Trying not to make it too bright or too strong. It has to be that in between. You need to know it's there, but you don't want to make it the focus point. Now I'm using the paint grey. Just try roughly to put some of those darks, shadows of the rocks that are on the little hill. Again, because this is a study, I'm not trying to get too bogged into it. Just want to try to make it look right. Blending the water level. Now I'm just graying a little bit the colors. It was just a bit too green. And here I'm just reworking the water a little bit, using that same mix, raw sienna, phthalo green and white. Just trying to establish a few more reflections of the rocks, trying to make it as translucent as possible. Now obviously the colors on the final painting look very different to what you see on the camera, so my apology, and no matter how often I've tried to fix the footage, it just doesn't come out the way it should be. So that's why I had that picture along the side of the painting, so you could follow through with the colors, and hopefully those are the right ones, and hopefully it helps you. Well, thanks guys for watching this little video tutorial, and I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know if you have any questions or any thoughts on this little painting. I'll be happy to answer your questions. In the meantime, please don't forget to subscribe, and look forward to see you soon again on a new adventure, hopefully up in the mountains again. Hope you don't get too bored with painting mountains, but I'm heading back there in a few weeks, so I'm getting a bit excited. Meantime, have a wonderful day guys, and happy painting, and talk to you soon. Ciao for now. Bye.